Come in.
Hi, how's it going?
Good.
Jesse.
Discount. Oh, your discount.
Yeah, Jesse
Right
with
away.
discount.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Nice to meet you.
And you are?
Aiden.
Aiden.
Yeah.
Good to meet with you, man.
Yeah.
They, looks like we're kind of at an impasse, and they always save the best for last. Isn't that how it goes?
Yeah, right on.
So we're the best that they have to give for both companies.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, excited to meet with you, man.
Yeah. So I wanted to start off with, I guess, what happens when we don't come into an agreement? What happens on your side if we don't make a solution together?
Sure. Aiden, we've been looking at the Boston area for a little bit of time now, and to be perfectly honest with you, there's a couple of other developers that have approached us in the area. We like you guys. You're right off the side of the interstate. I understand that you guys are kind of newer in the developing side of malls and of more of the commercial properties kind of thing.
Yeah, so this is actually my first project, and I'm really excited about it. So.
Oh.
But yeah.
Wow, fantastic. That's great, Aiden. That's really great. So there have been other areas here. Obviously, we've already done quite a few negotiations with you guys and negotiated a great rent. We really appreciate what is happening with that. But there are quite a few other places in the area that have looked into us and have even extended offers. So I'd say that if it doesn't come to a deal with us, we have some other places we can go.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah. So for me personally, if I would love to make something happen between us right now in this meeting. But if something doesn't happen, I guess my goal is to get financing. And in order to do that, I need an anchor store, which is what you are. And so right now I'm stuck between, I guess, finalizing this contract and searching for someone else. And so my goal is to get you guys. And so I want to work with you in whatever way I can to meet both of our needs in making this happen. So,
okay.
So you don't have to switch to other people, and I don't have to find someone else in my store.
Okay,
so.
Great. Well, tell me what the issues are. Obviously, we've done similar projects in 200 other locations.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of other stores that we've worked with. This is the same contract we've used with a lot of them. Obviously, there's a couple of small incremental changes that we make depending on the location.
Yeah.
But what are your guys' main issues here?
Yeah, so I'd love to hear your issues as well. So I'm kind of struggling with, so in securing the financing, I'm kind of between a rock and a hard place in giving you what you want in the freedom of the real estate that you have, and also being attractive to the satellite tenants. A lot of them are in require no competition for stores that are alongside of them. And that's a main concern of mine in allowing subleasing for the area that you'll have. And then also, I'm mostly interested in discount because of the clientele you guys bring in. I want that to remain consistent. And that's really, really important to me. And that's why I value you guys more than other options I may have. In that you bring the right amount of people and the right type of people to the mall.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So, I mean, you're kind of addressing two different things here. So you're concerned as far as content of the stores and then potentially subletting later on. I mean, because we're kind of dealing with a couple of different beasts here.
Yeah.
As far as the clause goes, you have the subletting and then also have content of whether it's hard or soft goods.
Right.
What are you specifically referring to?
So so as far as no competition, it'd be what you guys are actually selling. If we could tie that down, to still give you ability to move around in what you're used to, but also allowing the no competition clauses to still be in effect with the satellites. And then as far as subleasing, that's kind of the same thing, but I need an anchor store in the mall rather than a bunch of small satellites. If the whole mall was satellites, it wouldn't be a mall.
Right.
And so I guess in discount, I want it to remain a big store.
Okay.
And so that's my main concerns.
Absolutely. And I mean, here's the thing is we aren't planning on coming in today and then shutting off our lights tomorrow. It wouldn't make sense for us economically.
Yeah.
Our main issue is that if we get into this place and then say a few years from now we say, you know what, Boston's just not a good location. We're not making money here. we don't want to be tied down for 25 years. And I know that they pre-negotiated maybe a 25-year.
28, yeah.
28.
Yeah, I think it was.
Well, and to be perfectly honest with you, Aiden, that is unacceptable for me, just because I'm not looking to be tied down for that many years. I mean, we live in a society where marriages normally don't last more than 3 to 5 years, and you're trying to tie us down for 28 years. So we're really not acceptable with that. I'd be acceptable with maybe a 5-year lease contract, and then, we see where we can go from there. I'm just not, I don't feel comfortable doing such a long-term thing. We like to be flexible. Like you said, we like to keep the foot traffic up here, but if there comes a time when it's just not a right market for us, we got to get out.
Okay.
It's just how retail works.
Yeah. So are you wanting the subleasing as an option to get out? Is that what you're saying? Would that be how you exit if things aren't going well in the mall? Through subleasing?
From what I'm hearing is that would be particular with a signing,
okay,
where we would just completely leave.
Yeah.
And I mean, from there, obviously, I'm not in real estate. That's not really my thing. So then if you guys want to take over the lease from there and call someone else in, I'm fine with that. But we're just not able to do a long-term gig, if you can understand where I'm coming from with that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I totally understand your concerns in that you don't want to be tied down, and if things don't go well, you want an option to get out. And
right.
I can totally be on your side in that. And I'd love to provide that for you. So what's a way in that I think I can do that, in that most of my contracts with my satellites are anywhere from 5 to 10 years. Could
okay.
Could you do 12 years? Because my main concern is financing. I still believe I could get financing done if you guys signed to 12. But I want to be able to allow you guys to assign, handing over the contract to us again. I guess the way assigning works is the holder of the lease is responsible for assigning. And so my main concern is having to find another client to fill your spot is in the shortest terms kind of difficult.
Okay. I find it really shocking that your financing is not going to go for 12 years. I mean, typically in a situation like this, a 5-year lease is completely acceptable for a financing company.
Yeah.
That's really honestly just puzzling to me that they're not going to give you guys financing above a 12-year. And just, I mean, it's just really something we don't do. Mm-hmm. I feel like typically 7 years is pushing it for a lease with what we've done in the past.
Yeah. So I'd like to get back to kind of more of the reasons why. So I guess the previous negotiations, we've already laid out a 28-year, and I'd like to stick to that, but allow what we're most interested in here is me getting financing and you having the freedom. How can we make those things happen with still staying consistent with what we've already worked with?
Awesome. Great. I appreciate where you're coming from. And if I were in your shoes right now, I'd probably feel the exact same way, like I mentioned. I think it's definitely possible. If you guys are worried about another company coming in that's completely opposite to what we do, I'd be okay with putting in maybe a sub-clause that included certain categories that couldn't be replaced in this spot. For instance, like a call center or a furniture store, places that don't have high traffic or that aren't retail related, soft good kind of companies. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, so that definitely aligns with what I'm most interested in.
Okay.
In that discount offers the clientele that we're needing and that we value most, and having that in the clause is really just the main thing I want. And if you're on board with that, I'd love to put that in.
Okay, so. Awesome. And so with that being said, would you feel comfortable after that maybe putting the lease, like I said, 5 years is what we ideally do. I may be able to sell 7 years off to my other partners. Are you able to go down to, say, a 7-year contract?
Yes, I believe so. I can get that done.
With financing,
yeah.
You'll be okay with
yeah.
that? Okay, fantastic. That's awesome. As far as it goes with the no competition clauses,
yeah.
Have you ever heard the adage, don't let the tail control the dog?
Right.
So in this particular, for instance, Discount is kind of the dog in the situation. All the little subletting store or all the other little satellite stores that are going to come in, they're kind of like the tail. They're just kind of be sort of ridiculous to imagine that they're going to be controlling the dog in this, for instance, when we're the company that's kind of, we're the dog.
No, that's totally fair. And I guess doing the math, like you guys are 26% of our entire mall.
Yeah.
And each satellite is something less than 5. And so I totally understand where you're coming from in that. And me personally, you are my biggest client. And that I value your input more than any individual satellite. But I will say that each individual satellite added up equates to more than what you are, more than 20% of them all. In that I need to appeal to the other 80% of them all. You are my most important individual client, and that I want to satisfy your needs over any individual satellite. But the satellites as a whole, I still need to appeal to. And that's kind of where I'm stuck. If you can appreciate that view.
Definitely can. It's going to be a hard sell for me to go back to corporate and say, hey, we've got 200 locations that are all agreeing to this. And then there's this one little guy in Boston who just is not going to be okay with us doing hard goods on the event that we'd like to introduce a new line or chain in this area or nationwide.
So here's something, and excuse me for maybe having some details that I might not. I hear that you might want to be maybe I heard that you want to test things maybe.
Definitely.
Yeah. So if that's what you're interested in, and that usually maybe a lot of times you're not in malls. Is that what I hear?
It depends. We do have a lot of locations where we're the corner store in a mall.
Okay. So I kind of see this as kind of a first time of many, maybe, with Discount being in a situation like this. And excuse me for saying this maybe, but this might provide a learning opportunity for Discount in these situations that might be happen more and more as time goes on, if that's something that you see.
So just so we're on the same page, you're just mentioning that the Boston location is going to be a learning environment for
Discount.
For Discount?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if that makes sense to you. Like being in a mall, being in this situation with other satellites, working through this contract, it's something that I think Discount will do more often and that could provide value for your corporate office, if that makes sense.
Okay. I can see that adding value to the company, definitely. Okay, I think that's time then.
It's pretty warm in here.